We'd like to welcome you all to our Lunch Club Travel Edition, where we take a trip every Wednesday to a new place, new culture of the world. So Lou will be taking us on a journey to explore the majestic Giza pyramids today. So other than that, Lou, the floor is yours, and I look forward to learning more about this wonder of the world.
Oh, thank you so much, Alex. So, well, first question, as always, has anybody here ever been to the Great Pyramids of Egypt by any chance?
No.
And sorry, I've got a call coming. I'm going to turn this off. Um, okay, well, by chance, I actually went there years ago when I was 21 years old. I was there, and it was just the most amazing place. So let's start our trip off by sharing exactly where it is. Now, I haven't been as thorough as Alex is. Alex, you're amazing how you create the travel tickets and all that stuff. So what we're going to start off where we had in the past, which is at the Department of Aging and Community Living, and we're going to take a trip to Egypt to visit one of the great wonders of the world, if not the greatest wonder of the world. All right, so here we are at Dakhel. So if we're going to go to Egypt, we're probably going to go out of Dulles Airport, and there's a number of airlines that serve the area. Turkish Air serves the area. So does I think American Airlines. Egypt Airlines serves that area. All good airlines, safe to travel on them. Although Egypt Air did have a pretty major crash from the US to Cairo, Egypt years ago. So we're going to take off from Dulles Airport. We're going to gain some altitude. And which direction are we going to head, folks? North, south, east, or west?
Uh,
We're going to head east. So we're going to fly over the Atlantic Ocean, and we are going to gain some altitude because it's so darn far.
We've never actually done Egypt before, Lou, so this is really interesting.
It really is, isn't it? I'm surprised we didn't go to Egypt. It's such an important place.
We did when we watched that Women's History Month, we did the Girls Rising documentary. We looked at a girl from Egypt, but besides that, we never talked about it before, really.
Such a fascinating place. Well, in that context, then let me stay zoomed out here for a bit. So this is the country of Egypt, history of which dates back 5,000
yeah.
years. Just unbelievable. In a lot of the culture of Egypt is based around what geographic feature? Does anybody know the significant geographic feature that the culture of Egypt is based upon? Anybody know?
Really. Well, I don't see
The pyramid.
canal. I don't see the canal. The Nile.
The Nile River, yes. Look
Oh,
at
okay,
that. The Nile
geographic.
River's way down here. All the way up here, runs north to south to north,
South to north, yes.
and it extends all the way down into Central Africa. So for that river to get out of the continent, it has to go through a desert, the biggest desert, probably the most severe desert in the whole world, right here, the Sahara Desert.
Sahara.
So all that water's got to make it through the desert in order to reach the sea. And that creates a pretty unique situation there. So in Egypt, historically, they broke the country up into Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. So where do you think? Do you think is this Upper Egypt or is this Upper Egypt? Which one of these is Upper Egypt? This
On the
one?
right-hand side is Upper Egypt.
Well, I guess I'm saying is the top side or the bottom side Upper Egypt? The top
side.
Okay, how many people say top side? All right. Well, this is a trick question, which is why I'm asking it. The Egyptians based Upper and Lower Egypt on the Nile River. The Nile River was central to everything. So Upper Egypt is the upper part of the Nile River. Lower Egypt is the lower part of the Nile River. And when the culture of Egypt first started blossoming, it blossomed in Lower Egypt around Cairo, the place where the pyramids are. And we're going to see a little bit about that in a second. But
Okay.
later on, the center of the culture moved to Upper Egypt. So up near, as everybody ever hear of the Aswan Dam up in Upper?
Yeah.
So if anybody ever hear of King Tut?
Yeah. Yes.
So the Valley of the Kings, King Tut, all that activity is up around here. It's in Luxor right here, Upper Egypt.
Upper Egypt.
Yeah, no, this was later. These were later dynasties. Some of the most amazing places in the whole world are right here in Upper and Lower Egypt. The Valley of the Kings, where all those mummies are popping out of the ground. Upper Egypt. But the pyramids are in Lower Egypt. So let's look a little bit about this is a little background here, then we got to jump to the videos. Why am I talking so much about the Nile River? I'm going to show you why. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Let's see what Egypt looks like on a satellite. You tell me where you want to live. You want to live near the Nile River or what?
As close to it as possible.
That is a ribbon of life in the middle of nothing. Look at that. Look at that. You go quarter mile away from the Nile and you are in some serious desert. Look at that. Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
People live there today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see you want to see what that desert looks like? I'm gonna zoom out and see if somebody ever took a picture. There's no roads out there, so there's nowhere you can even get a picture. Okay, here's a picture spot right here. Let's see what that looks like. Oh
Desert
yeah, I really want to live out here.
and roads. It's amazing there's a road, right? It's what is it called? It says Edfu Marsa Alam Road.
Yeah. I mean, there is nothing there. So the Nile River was the lifeline of Egypt. Now let me share with you an interesting observation. When I was there, we went from Lower Egypt all the way to Upper Egypt. We went all the way from Cairo all the way to almost to Sudan. And you know what really struck me, folks, is skin color. That a lot of the folks we know, or a lot of the folks I know, African Americans are usually very dark skinned, and the people from the Caucasians are usually white skinned, and then sometimes some of the Arabic cultures will be a little bit in between. And that something sort of went off my mind, like, whoa, when I went to Egypt. When you go to Egypt, you go from very fair skinned people in Alexandria slowly graduate. I mean, these people have lived in these areas for a million years. Skin color slowly graduating as you go down, like every shade until you get to Sudan, and then you get into the more of a Central African complexion. And I said, wow, that is absolutely amazing. And the reason why is look at this big old Sahara Desert. This Sahara Desert separated peoples of light skin and peoples of dark skin. So you didn't have that graduated kind of thing as much. And anyway, I'm just sharing an observation I had. I don't know if there's much truth to it, but it was one of the things that really jumped out at me that made Egypt sort of really unique, because nowhere else in the world is there this thread of life between Central Africa and Europe. It's really remarkable.
It makes sense, Lou. I mean, with the heat and the sun, to protect yourself from the sun, it's geographically and biologically, I mean, what you said, makes sense for folks to be able to survive in these different parts of the world. So I imagine it's like that in other places too, Lou. So I think what you experienced is very valid, and what came of it.
Yeah, and what is completely unique to the Nile is that this is the only bridge across the Sahara Desert. That, period. There is no other bridge. And so and if you want to see what does the world look like if you're down here now? Well, I don't have any roads down here, but I want to show you just how rich and lush and tropical, and no wonder that everybody settled near the Nile. No wonder. No wonder. I'm going to go down to this area right here. And now we're gonna branch off to the pyramids real quick. But I do want to show you how. Now check it out. Would you want to live here? Check that out. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks so natural.
Yeah. So that was
It
one of the
looks
things.
lush.
Yeah. So that really struck me about the area. I just happened to pick this out randomly, and you just see how beautiful it is. All right, enough of that. Enough of that stuff. So here we are. We're going to land in the capital city of Cairo. The capital city of Cairo is over here. So I want to start us out because we're in a new series here. We're talking about the 7 wonders of the world. I want to start with a little bit of intro. Like, what is this 7 wonders of the world stuff, right? Who decided this? There's really a couple of schools of thought on this. One of them was it started out with the 7 ancient wonders of the world years ago. These are a lot of the wonders that we grew up with. By the way, someone was mentioning the canal.
The
Suez
Suez
Canal is
Canal, yeah.
right here. It's right here. Check it out. So we can zoom into the Suez Canal. You see that? It's cut into the desert.
Yeah.
One of them is northbound and one of them is southbound. 2 channels.
Mm-hmm.
Some areas they meet together. Amazing place. So so let's talk a little bit about these ancient wonders of the world. How do they get picked out? And I've got a couple of nice presentations on that. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Give me a second. And then I'm going to play a little bit about the ancient wonders of the world. And then we're going to talk about the latest wonders of the world. Just a moment. Sorry, folks, having a slight. Just give me a moment. All right, sorry, folks, I'm having a little bit of a technical issue here. Apologize. Okay, here we go. And go.
Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and today we're beginning a 3-part series looking at the wonders of the world. We often hear the phrase that there are 7 wonders of the world, but these lists have changed throughout time. We're going to begin with the 7 wonders of the ancient world, followed next week by the 7 wonders of the Middle Ages, then leading to the 7 wonders of the modern era, which is a much more engineering and innovation focused list. But let's start at the beginning. This list was believed to be created around the 1st century as the first tourists began to really explore Greece and Egypt and the rest of the Mediterranean, so this list is geographically confined to that area. They also existed in a pretty wide range of time, with only 60 years that all 7 of them supposedly existed at the same time, if they all existed at all. We'll get to that later. Let's begin with the only one of these wonders to still exist today, the Great Pyramid of Giza. While there are a few pyramids in Egypt, the largest pyramid belongs to the pharaoh Khufu, and this pyramid was singled out as a sight to see. It was supposedly built around 2560 BC, surviving today for a momentous 4,000-year-plus lifespan. For almost 3,800 of those years, it was the tallest man-made structure on Earth, until modern engineering allowed skyscrapers to exist. We're still unsure how this pyramid was built, and it's debated if slave labor was used or if skilled craftsmen were recruited. Either way, totaling an average workforce of 14,000 people at a time, over the course of 10 years. It's also debated if this pyramid was meant to be a tomb or not, as Khufu's remains were never found. Some believe an elaborate, undiscovered room in the pyramid may still hold his body, but only time and slow, meticulous investigation will tell. Our second wonder is also in Egypt, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. This lighthouse was created under the reign of Ptolemy I and Ptolemy II, taking about 12 years to build. This lighthouse had a giant furnace at the top, becoming the first of its kind and the model for all future lighthouses, used to guide ships into a harbor at night. It was destroyed over time by several earthquakes, which slowly caused the lighthouse to crumble into the sea. The fort was built over the lighthouse's ruins, so it wasn't able to be studied or examined until only recently, but most of the remains are still underwater. Our next wonder takes us away from Egypt and now to Greece, where we have the Colossus of Rhodes. The city of Rhodes is a harbor city, and the giant Colossus was built in honor of the Greek god Helios. They built the statue to celebrate victory for defending their city against an attack. The statue was said to be as tall as the Statue of Liberty, and the pose of the statue is hotly debated, with the current belief that it couldn't have actually straddled the opening of the harbor as it's shown in most pictures, but it likely stood to one side. Building the statue in the center of the harbor would have closed the actual harbor to traffic, and that seems unlikely, or so experts believe. It only stood for about 50 or 60 years before a massive earthquake caused it to snap at the knees and fall onto the city. For a long time, people still traveled to see its ruins, but eventually most of the bronze used to make it was melted down and sold, so there's no evidence left in Rhodes of the statue. We now move on to the statue of Zeus, which is located in the city of Olympia in Greece. This giant statue was made out of wood, but then covered in gold and precious metals. Zeus was the highest of the gods, so it was only fitting to build the statue in the largest temple to him. Eventually, the Roman emperors that took over control of the temple forbid worship of quote-unquote pagan gods, so the temple was abandoned and the statue crumbled. Earthquakes and fires helped to expedite this process. Some theories point to the statue being torn apart and taken to sell, since little to no evidence of the statue remains. Our last Greek site is the Temple of Artemis, located in an area called Ephesus, which now falls into the geography of modern-day Turkey. This temple was built to worship the goddess of the hunt, Artemis, and there's a theory that the Greek Amazons had a major role in building this temple to their patron goddess. This temple was destroyed and rebuilt many times by fires and floods and earthquakes. It was rediscovered and excavated in the mid-1800s. The site is now commemorated by a single column that's been built from discovered pieces from the wreckage. The next wonder is also in Turkey, the mausoleum at Halicarnassus. This wonder stems from the ruler named Mausolus, who wanted to build a city beautiful and intricate, so he transformed the city of Halicarnassus into a sight to behold. He died relatively young, though he had planned for this with an elaborate tomb and surrounding architecture. This tomb looked down over the city and included a stairway flanked by statues. At the time, it looked much more like a temple than a tomb. Tombs like this today, usually large rooms that hold a coffin, are called mausoleums after him. It was destroyed when Catholic knights took over the city and built Bodrum Castle, using the mausoleum's bricks to fortify it. Following this, the rest of the treasures and even the body of Mausolus and his wife went missing. You can visit this castle now and likely spot bricks and pieces that are from the old mausoleum. You can also see the spot where the mausoleum used to sit. Our last wonder is the only wonder that there is no physical evidence of. It may not have even existed at all. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. The ancient city of Babylon existed in what is now called Iraq, and it's said to have featured a garden, with tiers upon tiers of hanging flowers that pour down into it. What we're seeing on the screen is either what they believe this garden looked like, or gardens that have been inspired by it. The leading theory as to who created these gardens leads to Nebuchadnezzar II, who likely built them for his wife. There is an opposing theory that these gardens never existed in Babylon, but instead were built by an Assyrian king in the city of Nineveh. There are many references in ancient texts that discuss this Assyrian garden that line up with what we imagine. Thank you for watching our first video on the 7 wonders of the world. Next week we've got part 2. If it's already been a week.
Well, any thoughts, folks, on this video? Those were the ones that we grew up with, right? But now let's learn, since we're still in the intro phase of the 7 wonders of the world, let's look at the new 7 wonders
Okay.
and how they picked that. So this is a current way of thinking about the 7 wonders. Let's have a look.
Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic. This is a follow-up to some of my most popular videos, highlighting the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Middle Ages, and the modern world. I didn't create these lists. They were already established, but people still got pretty upset when some of their favorite monuments didn't appear. Well, I found a new list of 7 wonders that may please most of them. The New 7 Wonders campaign was organized by an organization in Switzerland called the New 7 Wonders Foundation, which collected 200 global monuments and allowed the public to vote, receiving over 100 million votes. There was some controversy, however, as it was possible that voters could vote multiple times, maybe inflating some of the decisions. Anyways, they ended up recognizing 7 wonders across the world, and we're going to highlight them here. 2 of them have already been featured, so I'm going to be brief about these first 2. In no particular order, we begin with the Great Wall of China. Stretching over 13,000 miles, these massive fortifications were built throughout a period in Chinese history beginning back in the 7th century BCE, and more recently up into the 1600s. That is a big span of time, in which different Chinese leaders would develop different stretches of the wall. This was typically to defend themselves, but also served as funnels to help inspect trade goods as they entered and left China. The second wonder that we've already covered in videos is the Roman Colosseum. In the center of Rome, this is the largest amphitheater ever built, once serving as a place to see theater, public executions, gladiator bouts, and more. It also holds the title of most popular tourist attraction in the world, with 7.4 million visitors in 2018 alone. It gets its name, Colosseum, from a nearby gigantic statue that has since been torn down, which represented first Emperor Nero, but then was reworked throughout time to represent each current emperor and sometimes even Roman gods. It's unsure how the statue eventually crumbled or when, but it's no longer standing. All that remains is a few blocks from its foundation. And now we dive into wonders that are new to this list. They weren't included in the 3 prior videos. We start with the city of Petra, located in Jordan. Petra is a city believed to be settled as early as 9000 BCE. It was built as a trading hub for nomadic tribes nearby to use as a central location. Petra was attacked and was attempted to be invaded many times, but its unique placement in the mountains made it nearly impenetrable, until eventually the Roman Empire conquered this place. It was abandoned and left alone, aside from small nomad tribes, until the 1800s, when it was rediscovered by the wider world. The area now relies on commerce and tourism, which is made difficult by the political instability of the area. And now we travel to the city of Chichen Itza in the Mexican state of Yucatan. This city was built by the Mayan people in what's believed to be around 750 BCE. Through the 10th century, the city became an important regional capital. The most prominent feature of Chichen Itza is the Temple of Kukulkan, who is a serpent god worshipped by the Mayans. This temple used to be open for visitors to climb on until a woman fell down the stairs to her death in 2006. Surrounding the temple, there are also 13 ball courts where sports used to be held, including the most well-preserved ball court in Mesoamerica. You can see other buildings and landmarks in the area, though some are much more well-preserved than others. This is a major tourism site in the area now, with many official shops, as well as local vendors who travel to the site to sell their goods. We now head to Peru, to the Inca site of Machu Picchu, originally built as a royal estate for its rulers in the 1400s. It seemed to be abandoned after only about 80 years, after the Spanish conquest, which brought an outbreak of smallpox that seemingly killed most of its inhabitants. It was overgrown and hidden from civilization until the late 1800s or maybe early 1900s, and it wasn't until 1981 that Peru declared the site a historic sanctuary. It's often celebrated for its unique geographic layout, embracing the mountainside surrounding it. To boost tourism in the area, there are plans by the Peruvian government to construct a cable car that would take tourists to the site, though these plans are often protested by people who might see an influx of tourism as a danger to the site. And now we're off to Brazil, to Rio de Janeiro and the Christ the Redeemer statue. Built over the course of 9 years, it was completed in 1931. It was truly a global project, built as a collaboration between Brazilian and French engineers, with the face sculpted by a Romanian artist. It's located at the top of Mount Corcovado, and it has taken some severe weather damage, prompting regular restoration work. The winds cause erosion, and several lightning strikes have caused details to chip off, so stone from the same quarry was brought in to repair it. A chapel was even consecrated beneath the statue by the Catholic Church, allowing weddings and baptisms to take place there. The last wonder voted onto this list is India's Taj Mahal. It was built in the mid-1600s by the then Emperor Shah Jahan. He had multiple wives, but built this mausoleum to bury himself and his favorite wife. It's a massive complex, also containing a mosque, living areas, and gardens, totaling about 42 acres. This place is considered a wonder because of the pure artistic value, every corner intentional and intricate. While most of it is elaborately decorated, the actual graves in a lower level are simple per Muslim law. So which of these sites would you like to visit? Let me know.
So that ends with a good question. Alex, which of these sites do we currently have on our plan to visit? Because Alex, I believe there's still room to modify the ones we actually do visit, right? Depending on what folks on this call want to do. And Alex may have stepped off for a moment. And let me ask the general group. Is there anything, any site, anything special on here that folks are saying, yeah, we absolutely want to go to that one? Which ones are those?
The Great Wall of China, for one.
Good job. Okay, got it. What other one? Anything else?
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal. Okay. Anything else?
Temple of Machu Picchu.
We went there, didn't we?
I don't know.
we went to Machu Picchu. Yep.
Okay.
We can go back.
How about Peru? Did you go to Peru?
Yeah, that was Machu Picchu.
Peru. We can go back if you want to.
Well, I think we got a lot more new sites to visit.
Okay.
How about the Colosseum? I thought that was cool.
That was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
That was real cool.
Said, wow. Go ahead.
What about the Inca? Was it?
Oh, Chichen Itza.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of.
Okay. Anything else, folks?
Hey Lou, we have about 15 minutes until the trivia, just letting you know.
Okay. All right. Well, let's appreciate that time check. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let's get into the topic of the day. And because this is, of all the lists of 7 wonders, this is unequivocally on
After
every
centuries of bigger and bigger monuments, the largest pyramid the world has ever known rises in Egypt. A new pharaoh, Khufu, builds on the success of his father, Sneferu, but surpasses him in scale and ambition to build the 4th pyramid wonder, the Great Pyramid at Giza. The oldest of the 7 ancient wonders of the world, it towers over all of its predecessors, more than 450 feet tall. A structure made from over 2 million solid stone blocks, assembled with breathtaking precision, many weighing more than a car. A building with narrow, mysterious tunnels, leading to 2 massive chambers, built from blocks of the strongest red granite. The ultimate resting place for a pharaoh's body. How does Khufu build on a scale that isn't matched for thousands of years? More than 6.5 million tons of solid stone make up this extraordinary monument. Huge quantities of a special red granite form the chambers inside the pyramid. This stone comes from quarries more than 550 miles away. How do the ancient Egyptians shift these massive blocks right across their kingdom? There's a clue hidden at the foot of the Great Pyramid. Under limestone slabs, archaeologists make a startling discovery. A deep pit filled with pieces of ancient Lebanese cedar wood. Some look like simple planks, others have more elaborate shapes. What are these ancient bits of wood? And what are they doing under the pyramid? Scientists think they are parts of a sacred contraption buried alongside the pharaoh, designed to help him in the afterlife. At the nearby conservation center, Director of Restoration Essa Zaiden heads up a team that stores the wooden pieces as they come out of the pit.
This is a storeroom of organic artifacts. This storeroom controlled by humidity and temperature.
Essa keeps the ancient wooden pieces safely locked and wrapped up. He is the first person to touch them since the ancient Egyptians.
4,600 years, very long time. I can't believe that I am the man who touched it for the first time.
Essa hopes this find will be as spectacular as similar pieces found in a neighboring pit over 60 years ago. In a museum built directly over the earlier pit, craftsmen assemble the wooden pieces. They form a boat buried alongside the pharaoh Khufu, a vessel designed to transport the king in the afterlife.
This is the first boat of King Khufu. It was founded in about 1,224 pieces, including the oar.
Restorers take almost 20 years to carefully preserve and rebuild this ancient vessel.
It was in very good conditions, and the wood is very strong.
Archaeologists discover this boat has a very special design, a design that helps the pyramid builders transport goods far and wide. Khufu's royal boat comes in neatly laid out pieces. It's an ancient Egyptian flat-pack design. Each plank has holes so they can tie together into a ship, which the crew can easily take apart and rebuild. Archaeologists think similar flat-pack boats are carried overland in pieces and reassembled on the banks of the Red Sea to ship in copper from the Sinai. And on the Nile, they carry heavy cargo, precious building blocks for the Great Pyramid. Boats turn Egypt's River Nile into a superhighway for construction materials and supplies. So builders can transport the red granite of the king's chamber more than 500 miles in less than a month.
So that's pretty amazing how they built it. I want to get into, there's other amazing things about the pyramids that I wanted to play for you before we run out of time. So I'm going to quickly branch out to this. Was there anything that anybody liked on here that was particularly interesting to them? Well, let's look at 10 reasons why the pyramids are so special and so unique.
10 amazing reasons why the Egypt
Hey
pyramids.
Lou, can you try unsharing your screen and optimizing it for the video? The video is a little choppy, so I just want to see if that makes a difference.
Sure.
So like what we did before, I know it's been great, but it's just been a little choppy. I want to see if that improves it a little bit.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up, Els. Okay, I'm trying to optimize. I think there's some capabilities we'll lose when we do this, but let's do it.
It's fine. Just let's see what happens. Yep. Yeah, it's a little. Let's see what happens. Go ahead and play the video.
The pyramids are some of history's most iconic structures, but so much about them is clouded in mystery and unexplainable origins. Here are 10 amazing reasons why the Egypt pyramids terrify scientists. Number 10, each brick weighs from 2 to 50 tons. Imagine the transportation cost of carrying 2 to 50 tons of any item today. It would probably be an insane amount no matter what you're carrying, despite all the technological advancements that we've made today that make doing something like this much easier than ever before. Now, go back 5,000 years, and they were carrying 2.5 million of these blocks that weighed up to 50 tons, all within a 12-year time frame. And that's for the Great Pyramid alone. While 12 years is admittedly a long time for a construction project today, for the time these pyramids were built, it's downright miraculous and highly confusing to scientists how the ancient Egyptians were able to build something like this without any support from modern technology at all. Maybe we haven't advanced so much as a civilization after all. Number 9. The pyramids aren't even close to how they originally looked. This fact makes scientists, historians, and archaeologists sadder than it makes them scared. And that's because much of the pyramid's original exterior has been lost to time because of natural deterioration, disasters, or looting. While the original structure, which is arguably the most important part, continues to withstand the test of time, the same can't be said for the incredible detail that was on these structures that were the finishing touches to this monument for the pharaohs. The pyramids were made of massive limestone blocks that we see today. But covering all of that up was a coating of a somewhat rarer white limestone. The white limestone was considered to be the main attraction for the pyramids when they were built, as it would shine like a diamond in the desert whenever the sun would reflect on them. There aren't any plans of restoring the white limestone, which means we may never be able to see the pyramids how they were meant to be seen. Number 8. They were able to survive without scientific technology. We've already mentioned how amazing it is that these pyramids were built such a long time ago, on a scale that wouldn't be seen for thousands of years after they'd already been built. And we've also mentioned how the original structure withstood the test of time. But that's not just some passing comment. It's absolutely ridiculous how these pyramids are still standing today. Out of all of the 7 wonders of the world, the Great Pyramids of Giza are the only structures on the list that continue to stand, despite the fact that they're older than each of the other 6 wonders. Even other pyramids found around the world have failed to bear the scrutiny of time, and are all usually partially damaged or simply too small to be compared to the Egyptian ones. The question of how these pyramids were protected is something that confuses scientists to this day. Number 7. The Pyramid of Khafre is not the tallest. This is one fact that wasn't even well known until just a few hundred years ago. If you've seen any pictures of all the pyramids together, you'll be able to see that Khafre, the pyramid in the center that seems bigger and taller than the rest, towers above them all. While it does tower above them, it's actually because it's constructed on higher ground than the rest of them. In reality, the Pyramid of Khafre is about 136 meters tall and was originally around 143 meters tall. The Pyramid of Khufu alongside it is actually taller from the ground up at 1,385 meters tall, and that pyramid was originally about 146 meters tall. The Khafre Pyramid still remains the pyramid that's in the best condition, with part of the white limestone still visible on it. Number 6. The granite coffer inside the pyramid. We've learned a lot of things from science and historians about the Great Pyramids, but this is certainly not one of them. There is a granite coffer located inside one of the pyramids, and while that isn't really a remarkable discovery considering how grand the pyramids themselves are, there is the one really special thing about that granite coffer. It's too big. The granite coffer is simply too big to fit inside the room it's in. There's no possible way it would have gotten in there without damaging the entry or coffer itself. unless the room was actually built around this.
Yep, around it.
Scientists have tried to look for answers, but have always come back empty-handed. Number 5. The various theories about their origin. You've probably heard some of these theories before, but because the Egyptian pyramids have a history that's clouded by mystery and uncertainty, many people have made their own theories about their origins and how they came into being. Since the pyramids were made at a time where it would have normally been impossible to build something of this scale, some people believe that there might have been extraterrestrial help in their construction, and that the pyramids might be a base for extraterrestrial landings in the future, or may have been one in the past. Of course, scientists won't ever rule out everything, even if it's something as unlikely as this. We may never truly know the story behind these magnificent structures. Number 4. The temperature inside the pyramids. Air conditioning is truly a luxury that we all take for granted in the 21st century. But in ancient Egypt, they didn't have such luxuries. Despite not having any access to electricity or machines that could cool air, the Great Pyramids of Giza are all about 20 degrees Celsius on the inside, with the temperature never exceeding that point. Considering the temperature in the desert can get upwards of 50 degrees Celsius, that's a remarkable feat in and of itself that ancient Egyptian engineers were smart enough to construct something that self-regulates the temperature. Number 3. It was built without slaves. One common misconception about the pyramids is that they were probably built by chained slaves who were forced to carry heavy blocks of limestone on their backs somehow. But that theory, which was usually peddled by ancient Greek historians who tried to make sense of the pyramids' construction, has been proven to be false. In more recent times, workers' living quarters have shown that they lived quite luxurious lives. They were usually hand-picked among the best workers in the empire, and there were even nearby cities and settlements where they grew their own food and lived with their families if they had one. Working conditions weren't nearly that bad either. Ancient Egyptians were recently uncovered to have access to post holes, ramps, and stairs that would allow them to transport these large blocks, although with a lot of workers. Number 2. They're not the only pyramids in the region. The Great Pyramids of Giza are one of the most well-known pieces of architecture in the history of mankind. Few other buildings, even megastructures that were built thousands of years after these, failed to live up to the grandeur and spectacularity of these few structures. However, while they may be monumental, they're far from the only pyramids in the region. Numerous other pyramid complexes exist both within and outside the borders of Egypt. In fact, the country with the most pyramids in the world isn't even Egypt. Bordering Sudan, which was once the center of the Nubian civilization that was closely linked to Egypt, is home to more pyramids than anywhere else on Earth, over 220. This really makes you and scientists wonder how many pyramids still exist in the region that we simply have yet to uncover. Number 1. It was the tallest building on Earth for thousands of years. And finally, something that doesn't actually confuse scientists as much as it fascinates them is that nothing of the Great Pyramid scale would be built for thousands of years. The Great Pyramid of Giza, or the Khufu Pyramid, was built around 2500 BC, and it was only around 1300 AD, almost 3,000 years later, when the tower of the Lincoln's Cathedral in England would finally surpass that height. In terms of skyscrapers, it wasn't even until the 20th century that we were finally able to make one that surpassed its height with the Singer Building in Manhattan. Those were the 10 amazing reasons why the Egypt pyramids terrify scientists.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And you know what, Lou, I agree that the pyramids had help from extraterrestrials.
Yeah,
I don't think we're the
possible.
only ones in this universe.
I was waiting on that comment.
I love that comment, Brenda.
It is.
I told you about the slavery and all that stuff, but you still want to go out to the outer world.
That's right.
I'm with you.
Oh,
You guys ever see the movie
This McManus.
Stargate? The movie Stargate was cool. It was based on that.
Yeah.
oh wow, yeah.
All right,
Amazing.
Alex.
Yeah.
Well, the show is yours. Hey, folks, thank you very much. Oh my gosh. Oh no, I'm leading Alex. The next one I lead is after Christmas, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure it
Okay,
is.
well, I got to jump off a little early, folks, because I got a meeting downtown. So I want to wish you all the most wonderful holiday season. If you celebrate Christmas, I wish you a fabulous Christmas. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, I wish you a wonderful Kwanzaa. If you celebrate Hanukkah, I wish you a glorious Hanukkah. And I'll have a fantastic day, folks.
Thank
Thank
you, Lou.
you.
Thank you, Lou. Same to
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Lou, thank you
you.
so much. Really appreciate it, Lou. Thank you.
Go Detroit.
So they say.
Awesome. All right, you guys. So we're gonna do our trivia for the day. So one of you all won a prize today, and as usual, you must raise your hand if you would like to participate in the trivia. I'll take 3 answerers for each question. So let's all practice raising our hands. You can hit more at the top right and then tap on raise hand. Or if your toolbar is at the bottom where reactions are, you can then tap on raise hand. So again, can I get everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand? Oh, I love that picture. Thanks so much. Yeah, let's all raise our hands. Thank you. Again, we'll take the first 3 for each question. They're all multiple choice questions. And so you kind of have to be fast with it, but the first 3 for those that are correct will be in the running for a snowflake ornament prize. So you all can hit lower. Thank you. Don't forget to lower your hand once you've been called on. Okay. Give me 1 second to pull up the questions. We are going to do 5 questions today. There are 9 on this sheet. We're going to do 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9 if you have time. So 9, we'll see, but definitely 2, 4, 6, and 8. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Thank you. Give me a moment, you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, let's ready to put our trivia hats on. All right, give me 1 second. There you go. So this is 1. Again, I'm just going to select answer. So this is 1. Again, we'll know immediately after the 3 who got that one correct. But what is the Giza Pyramid Complex? I think it's this one. And I was right. Okay. Yeah, so the next, yeah, Giza Pyramid, home to the Great Pyramid in Egypt, Pyramid of Khaf, Pyramid of Menkaure. Yep, and the Great Sphinx. All right, so the first 3 hands I'll take for the next question. Okay, what is the purpose of the pyramids in the Giza Pyramid Complex? To serve as a place of worship for the ancient Egyptians, to house the remains of the deceased pharaohs who ruled over ancient Egypt, to store treasures and artifacts of the pharaohs, or to provide housing for the workers who built them. So again, please share your answer. Okay, I see we have 3 hands. Okay, Geraldine, what do you think?
I say to house the remains of the deceased pharaohs who ruled over ancient Egypt.
Okay, Mr. Harrow, what do you say?
Associate myself with Geraldine, the house remains.
All right, and Mr. Leon.
Same.
All right, so I have your initials right here. Thank you. Again, the first 3, so you all have to be quick with it. So let's see. Everyone said that one, so let's see if that's right. And it is. So you guys are in the running for a prize so far. Again, the more potentially get right, the more of a chance you have of winning. But again, everyone that's on the call, we'd love to have you participate. So yes, the pyramids were built to house the remains of the deceased pharaohs who ruled over ancient Egypt, and a portion of the pharaoh spirit called its Ka was believed to remain with his corpse. How interesting. Okay, the next one is not us, but let's see. Let's see, what is the significance of the Great Pyramid? It's listed there you go. 7 wonders of the world, just based on our video. Great Pyramid was listed by Antipater of Sidon as one of the 7 wonders of the world. Okay, our next trivia question, number 4. Can please raise your hands, first 3. What is the orientation of the sides of the Giza pyramids? East, west, and north, south, within a small fraction of a degree. North, south only. North, south, and east, west with a within a small fraction of a degree, or east-west only? Tough question. What is the orientation of the sides of the Giza pyramids? Again, I'll take the first three hands. Okay, we have two so far. All right, we have three. All right, again, thanks so much. Mr. Harold, what do you think?
East-west only.
Okay, all right. Mr. Leon and Miss Brenda M., what do you say?
I'm going to say east, west, north, south, with the smallest facet degree.
Say that again.
Number one.
Oh, east-west, right? The first one?
Yes.
Okay, thanks so much. Just confirm it. And then Brenda, what do you say?
I say north, south, east, and west.
Okay. All right, so let's see what it is. Again, thanks so much for you three. Let's go. We have one for these three, but no one said north, south only. I'll select that one. Let's see who is correct. The answer is C. So Brenda got it. The sides of all three pyramids of the Giza pyramids are astronomically oriented to the north, south, and east, west within a small fraction of a degree. So good job, Brenda. You got that one. All right. Next up, doing great on time. Again, just a fun one for the next one. What was the role of the workers in building the Giza pyramids? Designing, providing housing, ceremonies. I'll go with this one. Let's see if that's right. Oh, okay. Several thousand skilled workers, unskilled laborers, and supporting workers. So again, that was just a fun one. Next up, number 6, three hands. What was discovered outside the stone wall surrounding the Giza pyramid complex? Was it a burial site for the pharaohs, an underground tunnel system, a town where the pyramid workers were housed, or a temple dedicated to Harambe? Any takers? Again, the first three hands. Okay, we have two hands so far. All right, three hands. Mr. Leon, what do you say for this one?
A town where the workers were housed.
All right, thanks so much. Yvonne, what do you say?
An underground tunnel system.
Okay, and Geraldine, what do you say?
Say a town where the pyramid workers were housed.
Okay, so we have two for that one, and we have the underground tunnel system. Let's see which one it is. Let's go with the lone wolf today, an underground tunnel system. Let's see if that's right. No, Mr. Leon, Miss Geraldine, you guys were correct. Congrats. The Giza Pyramid Complex is surrounded by a large stone wall outside which Mark Leaner and his team discovered a town where the pyramid workers were housed. All right, so we have 6 potential names so far. All right, so another fun one. Who were the concessionaries granted rights to excavate the pyramids of the Giza necropolis? I'm gonna just guess. This is a good question. Let's see. Okay, Ernestus Scherpelia, German Steindorf, and American George Reisner. Okay, I didn't know that. Granted concessions of the Giza necropolis in 1902. How interesting. All right, so here's number 8, and we'll do 9 as well. What was discovered alongside the Giza pyramids in 1990? The tombs belonging to the pyramid workers, a hidden treasure trove, an underground river system, or a new pyramid? Again, 3 answers for this one. What do you think it is? Again, Google is your friend. Also share your thoughts. So we have 3 hands. We have 1 so far, 2. All right. Again, you gotta raise your hand as soon as you can so you can get called on, okay? Yvonne, what do you think?
Underground river system.
Okay, thanks so much. Geraldine, what do you say?
I say a new pyramid.
Okay, new pyramid. And then once again, Mr. Leo, you're on fire. What do you think?
tombs belonging to the pyramid workers.
All righty now. So again, 3 different answers for this one. So let's see. No one said a hidden treasure trove, but let's see. Let's see if that's it. And if not, let's see who's right. All right, and tombs belonging to the pyramid workers. So congratulations, Mr. Leon, for that one. Good job. Into 1990 with an additional burial site found nearby in 2009. So, wow, 20 years later, still discovering new things. And our last question for today, again, 3 hands. Love to see anyone that hasn't shared yet as well. But anyone's up for the last one. What is the purpose of the 17 million pound revamp of the Giza pyramid complex? To renovate the 4,500-year-old site and provide new facilities for visitors, to restore ancient structures to their original state, to conduct more excavations, or to build new pyramids? Didn't know that there was this. How interesting. What do you all think it is? First 3 hands. These are some great questions. All right, 2 hands, one more hand. All righty now, thanks so much. Brenda, what do you think?
I'd say number 1, to renovate the 4,500-year-old site and provide new facilities for visitors.
Awesome. Mr. Harrell, what do you think?
To conduct more excavations.
All right. And our last one is from Cassandra. What do you think?
To restore the ancient structures to their original state.
Okay, thank you so much, you all. Again, that one, all 3 different answers. So let's see what happens. Let's go with to build new pyramids. And let's see if that's right. If not, we'll see who got that correct. So again, thanks so much for your participation. To build new pyramids. Let's see. Note to renovate as well. So Brenda, you got that. The 17 million pound of the complex was unveiled in 2021, which includes a new visitor center, an electric bus, a restaurant, public toilets, site-wide signage, food trucks, photo booths, and free Wi-Fi. The new facility is a part of a wider plan to renovate the 4,500-year-old site. So again, congratulations to the correct answerers for that one. Give me 1 second to be able to highlight the names. But again, we learned quite a bit just from the trivia as well. I am interested in more research about the project. That's 17 million pounds right there. And their discovery, their history is so interesting. We're still learning new things each and every single day. So thank you. Oh, wow. I see you. I see Mr. Harold. I love that. Thanks so much. Once again, I'm going to share my screen right here. And these were the correct answers for the day. So again, congrats to those. And we'll see who wins a snowflake ornament prize. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck. It's a close one, but it looks like Miss Brenda, you have won a snowflake ornament prize. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for participating. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah. And thank you all so much for joining this edition of our lunch club. We'll be discovering more wonders of the world next time. So again, make sure you keep checking this out and really appreciate you coming on. We still have our 1:30 session today on Zoom. Make sure you check that out. But thanks so much for attending our travel edition of the Lunch Club. Have a good afternoon.
Thank
Good afternoon.
Thank
Good afternoon.
you.
Good
everybody.
Right.
Harold, call me, please.
Tomorrow. See you at 1:30 today and 1:30 tomorrow.
Who?
Have a good day.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Give me some of that food, Harold.
Where's my
Unfortunately.
gift?
Unfortunately.